Today we're taking a look at Maryland versus Alabama, which is happening on Monday, March 22, 2021, 8:45 p.m., and giving you my betting tips and predictions in general on this game. Welcome back to High Stakes. Let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos. The East region of the 2021 NCAA tournament continues with a very interesting matchup between Maryland and Alabama for a spot in the Sweet 16. As the Terrapins look to re-establish themselves as a tournament power, they now have to get past a red-hot Crimson Tide squad to make that happen. Alabama only had a 1-point halftime lead against Iona in their tournament opener on Saturday but outscored the Gales 35-23 in the second half. As for Maryland, the Terps needed a couple of late defensive plays to hold off UConn, who outscored them 32-30 over the final 20 minutes. The Tide looked for their first trip to the Sweet 16 since 2004, while Maryland was last there in 2016. The Terrapins defeated the Huskies in their first game of the tournament, which gave them their second win in 3 games. They will try to keep the momentum going with a win over the Crimson Tide, which will give them their second win in a row and third win in their last 4 games. Maryland isn't very good offensively, with the team averaging 68.6 points per game. They finished with 63 points in their last game, making 51.2% of their field goals and 50% of their three-pointers. Eric Ayala led the way for Maryland with 23 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and 3 steals. Aaron Wiggins finished with 14 points and 5 rebounds, while Donta Scott added 12 points and 4 rebounds for the Terps. Maryland has done a better job defensively, giving up 64.6 points per game. They gave up 54 points in their last game and will need to keep it up if they want to get the win. Alabama was the best team in the SEC this season and has been thought of as a national title contender since mid-season. Crimson Tide went 16-2 in SEC play before rattling off 3 wins to win the SEC tournament. They had some trouble with Rick Pitino and Iona on Saturday before pulling away for a 68-55 win. Alabama led by 1 point at halftime, but its depth and athleticism were too much for the Gales to handle. The Crimson Tide are capable of getting hot offensively and they are number 36 in adjusted offensive efficiency. They will be facing a Maryland defense that is solid, listed at number 25 in adjusted efficiency. Sophomore guard Jaden Shackelford leads Alabama with 14.1 points and 3.8 rebounds. Sophomore guard Javon Quinterly is scoring 12.6 points and is dishing out 2.9 assists. He has been an extremely efficient three-point shooter, knocking down 44.9% of his attempts. Senior guard John Petty Jr. is one of the best players in Alabama history and is averaging 12.2 points per game this season. Senior forward Herbert Jones is adding 11.5 points, 6.5 rebounds, and 3.4 assists. The Terps didn't have any real drama or issues with UConn, disposing of one of the Big East stars in the first half and rolling from there for a 63-54 win. The threes were falling, the defense was terrific, and making 5 more free throws than the Huskies helped. This might be a brutally flaky Terp team, but after losing 3 of its last 4 games coming into this, it became the good flaky in the first round. Maryland has that ability to get hot, maintain the momentum, and keep it going at both ends of the floor with excellent defensive intensity. For all of the strong things Alabama is able to do, it's not amazing from 3, it shoots threes in bulk, but it doesn't really make them. And there are problems when the outside shots aren't dropping. The Tide foul way too much, they're not a particularly good shooting team, and as they showed against Iona in the 68-55 win, turnovers are always going to be an issue. Maryland has to force mistakes and capitalize on them on the move. If the Alabama threes start falling early, the Terps will panic and there will be a problem. Yeah, the Tide don't make a lot of threes, but they take more than anyone in America. Maryland is okay at guarding from the outside, but it's not amazing at it. This isn't a particularly powerful offensive team, either. Maryland is 12-2 this year when teams fail to hit 31% of their threes, and 5-11 when they do. When teams make 9 or more, the Terps are a painful 2-10. Bama might not be automatic from 3, but it hit 31% or better in 21 games, is 18-2 when making 9 or more threes, and 12-0 when making 12 or more. Maryland came away with a solid 63-54 victory over UConn to start their tournament. They shot 51.2% from the field and 50% from 3, while holding the Huskies to 32.3% shooting. Maryland is 7-3 in their last 10 games, but 2-3 in their last 5. The Terrapins are averaging 68.8 points per game and allowing 65 to their opponents. Maryland is shooting 45.6% from the field and 35.3% from beyond the arc. They have a 1.18 assist-turnover ratio and have assisted on 55% of their field goals. Eric Ayala leads the team with 14.9 points per game, while the next leading scorer, Aaron Wiggins, is contributing 14 points per game. The Crimson Tide cruised to a 68-55 victory over the Iona Gales in their first-round game. They shot 47.2% from the field and held Iona to 21.7% shooting from deep. Alabama also out-rebounded the Gales 42-26. The Crimson Tide are 9-1 in their last 10, and are 5-0 when scoring 80 or more during that span. Alabama is averaging 79.6 points per game, good for 34th in the nation, while allowing 69.8 to the opposition. They are shooting 43.1% from the field and 35.1% from 3. The Crimson Tide have just over a 1-to-1 assist-turnover ratio and are assisting on 51% of their field goals. Jaden Shackelford leads the team with 14.2 points per game. Herbert Jones has also been a factor with 11.2 points, 6.5 rebounds, and 3.4 assists per game. So here are my betting suggestions for that game. Alabama's depth got it across the finish line against Iona, and it will propel it to a cover against Maryland on Monday. The Big Ten has performed terribly in the NCAA tournament thus far, which makes a fate of Maryland an even better play. Alabama has a rebounding edge over Maryland and is not going to give up many second chances. Maryland did not have much momentum down the stretch of the regular season, and I do not trust them to stay in touch with a team like Alabama. My first betting advice for that game is to pick Alabama minus 5.5. And the first round matchup versus UConn, the Terrapins had a 33-22 lead at the break and were able to hang on for a 63-54 victory. Leading the way in scoring was Eric Ayala with 23 points, 5 rebounds and 3 assists. Aaron Wiggins added 14 points as well. Over on the Alabama side, they've been very consistent this year and haven't lost consecutive games. In their last 7 outings, the Tide have taken care of Mississippi State twice, Auburn, Georgia, Tennessee, LSU, and then Iona in the Saturday tournament matchup. In the first-round game versus Iona on Saturday, Alabama struggled initially with a 33-32 edge at the half, but were able to hold the Gales to just 23 points from there in a 68-55 win. The Tide's top scorer was Herb Jones with 20 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 assists. My second betting advice for you is to pick over 138.5. Good luck to all of you. That's it for this video. Stay tuned and stay safe for the next betting tips and advice.